In the wise words of writer and visionary Stan Lee, he proclaims, DC characters suck enormous chinchilla balls. Marvel characters are way better. Now with that insightful quote, I think we're able to put an end to this discussion. Superman is a character that is known by all but loved by few outside of the comic book community. Well, I mean, that's not really true because he's one of the most iconic characters of all time, so statistically, the majority of people... Okay, you know what I mean. These days, most people don't really care that much about Superman. Most people think he's boring, and there's not a whole lot of media outside of comics, specifically movies, that really exemplify the things that make the character so special to so many fans. And this is something that can be said for a lot of DC's catalog. I was never that crazy about most of DC's roster outside of Batman and Teen Titans. DC just wasn't very good at marketing its characters to people the way Marvel was. Say what you want about the company, but Marvel, through thick and thin, got you to care about a variety of different characters to where now Spider-Man doesn't even need to be on the front cover of a game or movie to sell units. If it's a Marvel property, your favorite character is probably in the thing. Whereas DC just shivers at the thought of doing anything that isn't Batman related. I also just think DC characters are slightly more difficult to sell to a casual audience in comparison to Marvel characters. DC was always seen as dark and brooding, mostly because of Batman, to be honest. Marvel is fun with a colorful cast of characters like Wolverine, Ghost Rider, the Punisher, Daredevil, and the Hulk. Needless to say, nobody cares about DC's characters, and that needed to be changed. The fate of DC's reputation was in the hands of one man, James Gunn, the man behind some of the best superhero projects of this generation, a man that was destined to bring DC's name into the promised land, but most importantly, a man that was destined to make a Superman movie. Make a Superman movie that gets people to like the character. What'll make this video a little interesting is the fact that I'm not a Superman fan. I think I probably read like an issue or so of like All-Star Superman, like at a bookstore, and saw miscellaneous clips online from the DCAU, but in general, I don't know much about the guy. Meaning I'm the target audience. This was a movie made to get stupid Gen Z kids who don't know shit about comics to care about Superman. So did the movie succeed? Well, look for yourself.
Superman.
Do you notice anything? That's right, Soups posted his reaction to the film and he didn't congratulate the producers! Let's go! Now, as I've stated already, James Gunn's biggest task when making this movie was, how do I get people to care about Superman? Because, I mean, come on, it's Superman, like, who gives a shit? He's strong, I guess. He can beat Goku, I guess. He's like a nice guy, ooh, so interesting. And then you watch the trailer, and you're like, oh my god. I feel so inspired. I feel like I can do anything. And that is a feeling that permeates throughout the entire film. This film just makes you feel so good. As someone who knows very little about the character, I can still watch this movie and be like, yeah, this is probably how Superman is supposed to be. By far the biggest selling point of the film and why fans were so optimistic was that it was very evident from the marketing and interviews that James Gunn and much of the crew understood Superman. They know what makes him a great character, they know what makes him tick, how he should be acting, and how a Superman story should make you feel. Everything feels right. The movie is funny and witty, but not like in an MCU way, it's just very whimsical. Even the look of the movie is so colorful and bright. Everything feels like how a Superman story should be. Like, bro, look at this. He saves an innocent child, and I know what you're thinking. Fumbus, that is the most basic thing a superhero could ever do. It's Superman. No shit he saves people. True, but then you watch Batman v Superman and you get to this part. And then you realize that this movie is actually very innovative. Because, what the fuck, dude? Lex Luthor kills some random guy. All he ever did was just gave Superman a hot dog or something last week. I don't remember. And yet he still feels horrible. He starts crying because he failed to save an innocent person that was counting on him. Meanwhile, in the Snyderverse, an entire courtroom of people die, and he doesn't even fucking care. He's too busy aura farming. When Superman feels so helpless and disheartened, the look on his face. Yeah, I know, he just God, he just looks so mildly disappointed. This movie is also supposed to act as this jumping off point for the DCU, and I don't think you could have asked for a better one. There is a lot of world building in this film, and I think that's why to some it can come off as a little bloated. This movie introduces a lot of things: Superman's gang, his dog, the pre-alpha version of the Justice League, pocket dimensions, big monsters, different nations. Not every single element gets to shine, but I would argue that the movie still organizes them in a cohesive manner, so don't worry, this is not like Spider-Man 3 kinds of messy. It structures itself into a few days of Clark Kent's life, almost as if we're reading a comic book limited series on the big screen, which is how I think it handles what otherwise could have been a messier film. And I think this structure allows for this world to feel so realized. I love that outside characters are allowed to coexist and just interact more freely compared to the MCU, where it feels like unless they're very integral to the plot, it kind of just feels like everyone exists in their own different realm until the big crossover movie. This is slightly spoilery if you care about cameos, I guess, but Peacemaker makes an appearance on the news, and I love how this isn't like that big of a deal. If this were Marvel, they would try to make it some big thing, and it would be like this big setup for the new movie, and oh look, a character you recognize is on screen for the billionth time. Guys, he has to be in Avengers Doomsday, right? No, it's just another character in this universe making an appearance to share their perspective on the happenings of the world. This is a cinematic universe. It's okay for characters to just come in and out, just to see how they're doing and how they're reacting to different events. I love how this universe is embracing those sci-fi fantastical elements that makes DC what it is. And I love how this universe has fucking colors, unlike Marvel's stupid ass charcoal concrete looking ass movies. In the end, these are all there to familiarize ourselves with this new take on the DC universe, which is why I don't think it's too big of an issue that certain characters aren't given that big of a role in this particular film. I've heard some criticisms here and there about the film, but generally people really like it. This movie had some S-tier marketing. Like, you see one promo, and if you have any semblance of humanity, you'll be like, hold up, kind of want to watch this movie. I guess it was never going to be able to reach the insane hype building up to it for everyone, but the journey there was so fun. From Spider-Verse to Barbenheimer to Dune 2 to Superman and Fantastic Four, I'm glad movies can feel like an event again. Like, it actually feels like this global thing when a movie is gonna drop soon, and that we just know is gonna slap. And to me, the film we got is still probably the best film I could have ever hoped for. Whatever you think of the film is what you think of the film, but to me, the most important thing it got right was embodying that sense of hope. The world fucking sucks right now, dude. Depending on where you live, this shit is straight buns right now. And I think this movie gives us all a little bit of hope, especially because of how much it mirrors our current reality, that things can get better. And I don't think another superhero can really replicate that optimistic feeling the way Superman can. It feels like the movie is trying to say, hey, everything's gonna be okay. I promise. And after seeing the movie, I think that is what Superman means to me. So yeah, while the film isn't like a masterpiece to a lot of people, James Gunn did kinda save DC. I'm so excited to see what the DCU has to offer more than Marvel right now. Sure, I'm super excited for Fantastic Four, and I will always love the Marvel universe, but the DCU just seems to have a stronger vision right now. Marvel is still very confused. It's still trying to figure out what it's trying to do exactly, whereas DC is promising us movies with differing tones, representation for characters who really need it, and this overall sense of wonder, which is kind of what the MCU is lacking at the minute. And if you're wondering, the movie I'm most excited for is the Teen Titans movie. I fucking love the Teen Titans, bro. I just don't know who's gonna be the main Robin, so that's pretty concerning. If it's Damian, and James Gunn tries to get Damian and Raven to be like a couple, I might fucking crash out.